Evening, everybody, and welcome to our third tutorial. I will be recapping what we've done in our assignment, previous assignment, and then also just looking at your next assignment and giving you some pointers to go ahead with that one. Let's start. Right, I'm going to play a measurement song just as a recap of what we've done in terms of measurement and your poster. And just a reminder, once again, to highlight to the children also the so-called old measurements, or what we would call the imperial measurements, and compare that and explain to them in terms of the metric system that we use. Sometimes children are given measurements and they're not defined as into which category they fall, and that does confuse children quite a bit. So always make sure that children are familiar with which units fall under which specific system, and then we'll listen to the song and that will give you a better idea. Just remember the units are not all mentioned within the song, so you need to look at the linear units in terms of what needs to be covered. Let's look at the video.
There are 10 millimeters in a centimeter, 100 centimeters in a meter, 1,000 meters in a kilometer. There are 12 inches in a foot, 3 feet in a yard, 1,760 yards in a mile. There are 1,000 grams in a kilo, 16 ounces in a pound, 14 pounds in a stone. So now you know 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. There are 1.6 kilometers in a mile. For every 100 grams, you get 3.5 ounces. And 1 kilo is 2 pounds, 3 ounces, and just a little bit. So if you're 6 feet tall, that's 1 meter 83. If you're 5 feet tall, that's 1 meter 52. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's almost 91 kilos, 14 stone, 4 pounds, no ounces. Measurements, measurements, we couldn't live without them. Measurements, measurements, we use them every day. There are 1,000 milliliters in a liter, 100 centiliters in a liter. But pints can be a little confusing. There are 8 pints in a gallon, no matter where you live. But a US pint is not the same as a British pint. A US pint is 473 and a British pint is 568. There are 16 fluid ounces in a US pint, 20 fluid ounces in a British pint. So a US gallon is 3.8 liters, and a British gallon is 4.5 liters. Measurements, measurements, we couldn't live without them. Measurements, measurements, we use them every day. Measurements.
Right. Also, please remember to read your feedback that I have already sent to all of you, and that will just refresh your memory also for the next session. Just also once again to look at symmetry as part of your feedback. You can look at those images again, and always remember it's a good idea to give children non-examples, for example, the G, which would be a non-example in this instance, and then perhaps question them, and then you will know that they understand the concept of symmetry. Let's look at data handling and creating graphs for children. Once again, let's look at a clip in terms of data handling, and then decide what type of graphing is done in this clip.
What's a graph? I'm Ted Tunes with more math news you can use. Ted, watch this. As cars drive by, I stack up a block. If the car is blue, I stack up a blue block. If a red car goes by, you stack a red block. Right. You can easily see that more blue cars went by than red, and almost no green cars went by, and even less yellow cars. That's a great way to record information. What do you call it? It's a graph. No, it's the,
In a graph, graphs are used to show and explain data.
What's data?
Data is a group of numbers. In this case, the numbers show how many cars drove by of each color.
I think we should call it the amazing Bob-Lee Block Counter Thunder. It's a graph. Until next time, I'm Ted Tunes.
Right, let's go on with the next slide. In terms of preparing for your assignment, please look at the CAPS document, the maths one on pages 30 and 31, that will give you information in terms of data handling and what needs to be covered within those specific age groups that you will be working at. Also, please go back to your resources, and I will place another resource for you tomorrow during the course of tomorrow. One of the examples of chart is a tally chart, and here's not an example picture of it as at the moment, but a tally chart would be something like where children would do the tallies that you do in terms of maths, where you perhaps have 4 vertical strokes and then 1 horizontal stroke where you count. That would be 5, and that would be an example of a tally stroke or chart for you. Just examples of how you would use tallies to record that. Also look at different charts that we use. For example, a pictogram that you could use, or a bar graph, or the so-called pie chart. In your assignment, you would be required to use a pie chart to execute your assignment. Let's look at how we draw a pie chart specifically, and then also this is what you would also guide children in terms of drawing a pie chart, because it's quite a new experience for them. Add all the totals that in terms of your data. Divide the frequency for each total. So if the frequency is 9, you would divide that. Calculate the angle of each segment within your pie chart. And there's your formula. It's important to calculate each segment to get the total within your pie chart. Start off with drawing the circle using your compass. And I'll just go through these. Draw a line from the middle point to the edge, which would become your radius. Then finish off your graph, and you can read those directions on your own. Color each segment and give a key for each color so that you can distinguish between them. And remember, graphs is about comparing data. Give your chart a heading. And there's some more references for you to use in terms of preparation for your assignment. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.